Imagine being able to hear a pin drop from another room or a mouse squeaking in the yard. Welcome to the O of Canine Hearing. This world is an intricate auditory landscape in which our furry pals reign. They possess a unique hearing ability that far surpasses ours, detecting higher frequencies and fainter sounds. This supersonic sensitivity paints their perception of our world in a different light, including our speech. Let's explore the symphony of human speech. It's a rich blend of pitch, tone, and vocabulary. When we communicate, our dogs experience a sound orchestra. The pitch of our voice can evoke excitement or caution. The tone conveys our emotion, and the vocabulary tells a story, albeit in a different way than we might think. Here's where we dispel a myth. Dogs don't understand words like humans. They can't grasp grammar, syntax, or context. When we say, "fetch the ball," they don't comprehend the sentence or the concept of ball. But they do understand that this sound pattern often leads to a game of fetch. Does this mean our conversations are lost on them? No, they might not understand our words, but they're experts at picking up our speech's emotional undertones. They sense the joy when we praise them, the frustration when we scold, or the excitement when we mention the magic word, walk. So while our canine friends might not grasp our conversations, their extraordinary hearing allows them to perceive our world in a way we barely comprehend. It's a world where sounds paint pictures and the rhythm of our speech becomes a melody in their ears. It's a world filled with more than just woofs and barks. It's the world through canine ears. If dogs can't understand our words, then what exactly do they hear when we talk to them? Let's dive deeper into this fascinating query. Imagine tuning into a radio station broadcasting in a language you don't speak. You may not understand the words, but the overall tone, rhythm, and emotion conveyed by the speaker provide a glimpse into the mood being portrayed. This is somewhat similar to what our canine companions experience when we communicate with them. They may not be able to decipher our words, but they're adept at sensing our emotional states via the tone of our voices. When we're thrilled, they feed off our excitement. When we're distressed, they perceive our turmoil. Our four-legged friends are phenomenal emotional detectors, mirroring our emotions effectively. And there's more to their understanding. Dogs are keen learners and can form associations over time. They connect particular words with corresponding experiences. For instance, when you say walk, they may not understand the word literally, but they surely remember that walk means an exhilarating outing. So when they hear that word, they get all buoyant and tail-wagging with anticipation. It's somewhat like Pavlov's dogs, but with less slobbering and more tail-wagging. Moreover, dogs are intuitive observers, skilled at reading not just our voices, but also our body language and facial expressions. These nonverbal cues provide a wealth of information that helps them interpret our intents. A smile, a frown, a raised hand, all these subtle signs paint a picture that they can understand. They might not comprehend verbal commands like sit or stay, but they can definitely interpret a stern gaze or a welcoming gesture inviting them to cozy up on the couch. In essence, our words might sound like nonsensical noise to them, but it's our tone, emotions, and body language that truly communicate our thoughts and feelings. So, when you next strike up a conversation with your furry friend, bear in mind that it's not only about what you articulate, but about how you express it. After all, communication extends beyond the realm of spoken words. It's about creating meaningful connections. There's no bond quite like the one between a human and their dog. So remember this the next time you're talking to your dog. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. After all, communication isn't just about words, it's about making connections. And there's no bond quite like the one between a human and their dog. Now that we understand how dogs perceive our speech, how can we communicate more effectively with them? Well, the first thing to keep in mind is simplicity and consistency. Dogs, like us, learn through repetition and positive reinforcement. So, when you're trying to teach your dog a new command, keep it short and clear. For instance, instead of saying, "Let's go for a lovely walk in the park," just say walk. Stick with it, and soon your dog will associate the word walk with the joy of exploring the great outdoors. Similarly, it's essential to use consistent keywords. If you want your dog to sit, always use the word sit. Don't switch between sit, down, or rest. Consistency is key to avoid any confusion. And don't forget about tone and emotion. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to our feelings, and they respond to the emotion in our voice. So when you're giving commands or praising your dog, make sure your tone is positive and encouraging. Even when you're correcting your dog, avoid shouting or sounding angry. A firm, steady voice will do the trick. Remember, a calm and loving approach fosters trust and understanding. But communication doesn't end with words. Dogs pay close attention to our body language and facial expressions. When you're teaching a new command, pair it with a clear gesture. For example, when teaching sit, you could point downwards. Over time, your dog will understand the connection between the word and the gesture. Eye contact is another powerful tool. It helps to focus your dog's attention and strengthens the bond between you. But remember, direct staring can be seen as a threat by some dogs, so always maintain a gentle, friendly demeanor. And finally, patience is crucial. Learning new things takes time, and your dog won't always get it right on the first try. But with patience, consistency, and a whole lot of love, we can bridge the language gap with our canine companions. The bond between humans and dogs is a special one, transcending the barriers of language. This profound connection, unique and enduring, has been carefully crafted over countless generations, shaped not just by overlapping histories and shared experiences, but also by the exclusive ways our canine friends perceive the world around them. Interactions between humans and dogs have evolved through time, giving rise to a deep and binding connection. Dogs, with their superior olfactory and auditory abilities, perceive the world differently than we do, and this greatly influences the way they understand us. Notably, when it comes to communicating, dogs lend a distinct approach. While they may not grasp our words in the same manner as we humans do, they are remarkably adept at deciphering our emotions through the tone of our voice. The subtle inflections and changes in our tones, often unnoticed by us, are picked up by our dogs, helping them gauge our moods and intentions. A dog's ears are tuned in a specific way, making them sensitive to particular frequency ranges. This means that they can discern the slightest changes in our tone, even those too subtle for us to notice. Through this auditory acuity, they can accurately interpret our feelings of happiness, sadness, anger, or anxiety. It's a remarkable form of intuitive communication that strengthens the bond we share with our dogs. Beyond the auditory, dogs also grasp meaning from our physical movements and expressions. They keenly observe our body language and facial cues, adding a whole new dimension to their understanding of our emotions and intentions. The angles at which we stand, the expressions we wear on our faces, and even the slightest movements of our eyes are all noticed and interpreted by our ever-watchful canine companions. Training or communicating with our dogs effectively calls for clarity and consistency, alongside a healthy dose of positive reinforcement. Simple, consistent commands accompanied by a positive tone and clear body language can make our intentions significantly easier for them to understand. The delivery of commands in a firm and reassuring tone, coupled with specific and consistent body language, can greatly enhance a dog's comprehension, making communication a smoother process. While dogs may not understand every word we utter, the depth of the connection we share with our canine companions transcends mere words and languages. It is an intuitive bond, rooted in mutual love and respect, that holds the power to bridge communication gaps. The ability of dogs to understand our emotions and intentions, even without comprehending the exact words we say, is testament to the fact that love is indeed a universal language. After all, love speaks louder than words, doesn't it?